The island itself, how do you feel about tourism in general?
You mentioned funding. There's no steady funding. Why is that?
You briefly said you're the only one in the office.
Yes.
How does that function for you?
Overwhelming, stressful.
Welcome to another episode of a talk. Before I start, I wanted to encourage everybody to please subscribe to the page. At least 76% of you all are not subscribed, so please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when a video drops each time. Welcome to another episode. We're here sitting with Maya Pandt. We brought her here to talk about different things. She knows a lot, especially from the standpoint of autism and also tourism. But I'm going to allow her to introduce herself.
Good. Well, greetings, everyone. My name is Maya Pandt, a native of Statia, born and bred here, with a background in Bonaire, so we claim both. Nice to be here and talk about whatever events come along. Like you said, I'm open to every conversation there is.
The first thing I think we want to talk about is autism. The reason being because you have an autism foundation,
Yes.
JTL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, JTL Autism Foundation. Yes.
What does JTL stand for?
JTL is named after my son.
Okay.
Yes, those are his initials: Jürgen Timothy Leon.
And the reason you ultimately started this foundation was, why did you ultimately start the foundation?
Well, I ultimately started, and it's so good I'm sitting with you because I remember sitting and talking with you, and you said, Tanti, why you don't start a foundation to get the awareness going, to let people out there know. And first, and that's together, is because my son Jürgen is autistic, and I realized, there was a lot lacking in the sense of information out there. People weren't aware in those days as yet. Even the world wasn't too keen in understanding what autism is. I mean, now we've come a long way from back in those days, so yeah.
I remember seeing you host different activities. Like, I remember you had one by the Johan Cruyff for the autism walk that you had.
Yes. We try to do different activities. It's hard though because I got to be honest. We don't get funding. We don't have a steady funding, so we rely on donations. We have folks in the community that is quite nice that gives a little donation here and there. One of our biggest donations came from MCB Bank, which I was very appreciative to that, because with that donation we were able to host last year May. We did the autism talk where we brought in speakers from St. Martin. Actually, they were all part of this autism group I'm in. I was put in that group by Jacinta Bryce. And so one of those parents, she's an avid as well fighter for autism on St. Martin, because we would think that here on Statia, but St. Martin, they're like the same for us. She says there's nothing happening much for them over there, so I decided to bring them over, and a psychologist and she was diagnosed in her adulthood that she was autistic. A lot of us here don't understand. You don't have to be diagnosed from a kid. Even as an adult, if you feel, listen, I think I want to know, like myself, I asked the psychologist to diagnose me because they say it's supposedly, what do you say now, inherited from your genes. But if you do the research, which, I've done so much research, that is part of it. There is some cases where it comes. So I wanted to clear that part before I continued on. Yeah.
You mentioned funding. There's no steady funding. Why is that?
Well, everywhere you seek, they tell you it's not possible, or they tell you you have to go via another major organization, and if that major organization is not willing to assist, you know, you don't get anywhere. I've tried. Well, actually, right now I have a friend in Europe is trying to help me figure out then through Europe how I can make it happen, you know. Because we have some major projects in plan. I mean, I sent Jaquil some ideas, you know, we have some other ideas out there, but it all costs money. A lot of the monies in the past I took from my own savings, but when he got to his last year of high school, I had to say, I can't do that no more. He's my priority. I need to make sure my savings stays to get him on his path. So, you know, so unfortunately people ain't see much happening is because, you know, the money is run dry from my,
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. And you have any idea that you're willing to share that you would like to see with the foundation?
Well, one of them, I have two major ideas. One I was sharing with Jaquil. I also shared one with Duo Brandits. Duo Brandits had another idea of a commercial. We build a platform and do the commercial. The one I showed Jaquil is I want the different kids, you know, expressing that, hey, I have autism, but I can still do this. Because for some reason, people think if they're autistic, they don't understand what it is, so they feel that you can do stuff. Sadly enough, I've been told late last year, it hit me, and then I had to, you know, because you have to change your mind mentally, you have to reframe how you think, and somebody said she needs to stop talking out there about her son is autistic, she's just faking it, looking at her child, he's not autistic. And you know that thing, it hit you because I'm like, who are these people to determine that? But then you have to brush it off and like, you know, if they can say that about him, imagine all the other kids going around, they don't understand why the kids react in a certain way. So that's exactly, oh, he's just rude. No, autism is a what do you call a neurological condition. So it has nothing to do with their parents, it has to do with their way of thinking. And they all think differently, they all react differently. But one of the biggest things that autistic children carry with them is anxiety. And each of them react different to anxiety. You know, my son, his reaction to anxiety is he'll come home, straight in his room, shut down everything. He don't want to hear nobody, he don't want to see nobody. So I have to let him be.
Recharge.
Yeah, to recharge, yeah. Because you keep, if you as a parent don't understand that, and you keep in their face, that's where they become violent. And people like, oh, autistic, no, they're not violent. You're causing them to be violent because you're not letting them be. I have to let him be, let him calm himself down, and then we talk about the situation. That's,
Yeah, most likely you say you had some negative comments around that, okay, he doesn't appear to be autistic, but you can't really tell, you know, if I'm just looking at someone that they are not autistic, but maybe it's a compliment to yourself as well because you have been putting a lot of efforts as well, you know, with him.
Yeah. Well, yes, I've worked hard. I mean, people understand. I keep telling them, you know, they think it's easy. The sleepless nights, the nights you cry yourself to sleep, the night you try to find solutions for certain things. And, you know, each parent may handle it differently. But mine was, I'm not going to lie down and just do nothing. I need to understand how to help my son. So, you know, I spent a lot in taking courses online, you know, it's a lot of money, some of them. One of the most expensive one was I did it together with the foundation, with some of the members of, it's like 400 and nearly 500 pounds you convert that. It's nearly $600. But I did that not just for the foundation, but for myself to understand how to help him along the way. Because if we don't understand, we're causing them more damage. And if we understand them, we can help them become productive individuals in the society because they'll be able to adapt to a certain extent. We can't completely change how they see the world, But I love how he sees
To
the
adapt,
world.
yeah.
I mean,
I like how you say that. You love how he sees the world.
Yeah, I love how he sees the world, and he changes my view. You know, a lot of times he'll come and tell me something, and I'm like, what on earth? And then, you know, you stop for a minute and you think, okay, I had no idea that's how you saw that. But now,
You have any moments that you can remember that maybe like put you to pause and think, oh, that's how he sees it?
well, it's like one thing that scares me, but it's a good thing. He sees the positive in everything. I have not heard that child be negative in nothing. If something happens and we as the neurotypicals will flip, and he will stay calm and is like, Mom, you know, that happened for a reason. Maybe you need to look at it this way.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know, so he basically balances the things out sometimes, and he's
Don't make
like,
it too much of a big deal.
yes, yes. Or we'll find another way, you know. We don't have that easily, you know.
He could teach you a lot. He could teach you a lot.
Yes, I mean,
Well, actually balance each other and you're supporting him.
yeah. Well, we have the joke at home. I just tell him, you know, I'm Gen X, the old school. He's Gen Z. I said, don't they think you're crazy sometimes? 'Cause your Gen X mother is always. He's like, Mom. But you know, we have a lot of we have a good relationship. We laugh a lot because he likes to joke around. People don't know that about them.
Yeah.
Sometimes the stuff he comes up with, you know, we laugh, and sometimes we're driving and the jokes are in the Jeep, and we're laughing, and people may look at us like, what's wrong with him? But you know, it's the stuff we see or we say at that time, and you know. And that's what I like, because then they understand. It's not because you're autistic mean you can have a sense of humor. Exactly. They have sense of humor. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he's now, how old is he now?
He just turned 18.
Okay, so he's an adult. How do you feel about that?
I know, emotional. Not yet. Actually, I told him 2 days before. I said, Jurgen, I don't care what you do. I'm going to be crying on your birthday. And he's like, Mom, don't embarrass me. And that night, we went to bed and it hit midnight. For some reason, I just didn't sleep. And I made my post on Facebook at that hour, and I'm telling people, you know, I said it. I'm sitting here making the post, but seriously, the tears was coming out my eyes. And it wasn't the tears of sadness, it was tears of joy. I'm like, oh my God, you know, he's 18. Look at all these years we fought, and look how hard we fought. And this is my man now. It's like, you know, and it hits you because, you know, you don't be ready for that. But I am one proud mother of him. The other day I said to him, I am so proud of you, son. And he's like, why are you proud? And I'm like, I'm proud because of who you are, of what you've become in life, you know. Exactly. You don't let nothing hold you back. You have a dream, and you focus on your dream, and you go for your dream. You know, I grew up in the sense that where our parents were pushing us, and, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. Yeah. I changed that mentality with myself. I'm like, whatever you want to do, I will support you, as long as it's not a murderer, but anything else, Whatever you want to become, your mother's going to be there 100% behind you, as long as I got breath in me.
Exactly.
So anything you got, that's why, you know, he comes to me and he talks, as they get older, you know, they don't say all the stuff to the parents anymore. Another thing, people think autistic people don't have friends. Yes, some may not. Yeah. But Mr. has their group of friends on WhatsApp. They talk in there. Yeah. So, you know, it's good. And
it varies from person to person.
Yes.
Not the same.
So I guess they talk about their experience and stuff. So when he comes to me, it's because it's the last resort.
You mentioned you support any dream that he's willing to pursue. Yeah. What is it? What track is he on right now that he's looking into?
We've been through so many tracks. People don't, you know, we've been through, he started out wanting to be an illustrator. Yeah. Then he wanted to be anime. That dream crashed because Oseway told him they weren't going to fund him. He wanted to go to Japan. People don't understand. Yeah. Japanese anime, manga, all of those things. he sat and watched that thing from the time he was 8 years old. He understood Japanese. I didn't understand.
Wow.
I'm serious. He
Wow.
would sit and watch everything in Japanese. And then one day I said to him, but why you don't have the thing on the bottom? Do you understand? And he's like, yeah. I don't question that because an autistic mind works different to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he's telling me he's understanding, who am I to question
Yes,
what
exactly.
he's saying?
Yes.
So after they told him that, I noticed him like drop that. But now he's big on football. He just want to do football. Go for it, you know. The dreams are there. He showed me one guy, don't ask me the name, please.
Messi?
He's a Dutch guy, a Dutch guy. That everybody tells him, oh, you know, you had to start from earlier with the football. But this guy started at 19 training.
Yeah.
At 19 and still made it
Yeah.
to the leagues.
Exactly.
And he's in the Premier Leagues in England. He played with them big teams.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter what age you
I really
start,
like, and I really like that you highlight that too. Like, it doesn't matter even if it's a sport, you're willing to go ahead and support him in that.
Yeah. One thing that I said, have your backup.
Yeah.
You know, if that goes, then what's your next step? If it's you still love sport, then choose something in the area of sports.
Yeah.
You can continue there. If you say no, I'm going off to a different direction.
Exactly.
Because we all.
I like
go
how
there.
open you are, because sometimes it'd be like, okay, you always switching, and like you can't make up your mind, but you have a different idea how you see that.
Yeah, but that's the autistic mind too. So, you know, I had to understand that, you know.
But then some people who are not autistic might be like, I can't make up my mind, I just don't know.
Yeah.
So then what you would tell them, that they're autistic or no?
No. I got some people, but, you know, because I understand his mind, because, you know, we've been through the phases. Like, when he was younger, I think 5 or 6, he was everything about stars. I bought telescope, I bought this. That lasted a year. Then he moved on to something else. So after a while, you start understanding, hey, am I going to invest the money for something that's temporarily, but you never know what's going to come out of it.
Exactly.
So you still invest the money. And that's
because sometimes your interest could be there at a moment, and then after you don't have any interest. And to me, that's a part of life too.
Exactly.
Because it's like me all my life, I want to be a teacher. And then, and then when I was in high school in Curacao, we did that test, and the test said I
can't.
And I don't know why, but I still end up teaching. I did. I teach English as a second language at NCF.
Yeah.
Okay. When I did my graduate program, my professor had me filling in his classes for him, teaching his classes in grad school. So I still fell in something that they told me that. And with his, I laughed so much because they did it with him at GBP too, and his came out as a translator, and I was
you see?
But I said to him, how on earth? He said, oh, Mom, they didn't explain to me what I had to do, so I fill out the easiest things. So the easiest things became a translator. So.
I have a question. Growing up, I know did you always know that the diagnosis was autism, or it was something that you gradually had to try to figure out?
I had to figure it out because I didn't know what it was. You know, I saw the behavior change. I'm going to touch a subject that a lot of people may get, but it's proven now, and I'm happy out there that a lot of doctors and psychologists agreeing. After he had his MMR shot, that's the mumps, measles, and rubella shot. Everything changed. It's now a proven fact. Yes, there's a black doctor in Minnesota, Michigan, one of those two states that proved it. There's other doctors that proved it and it's not about the shot, it's about the high mercury level in the shot.
Okay.
So the mercury is what affects the brain. And
what age he was at that time when he got it?
He was a year and 5 months when he got it in the States. And actually, I didn't want him to get it because I had seen a program I didn't understand at that time, from one of the, what do you call them now, an actress in the States. Not Holly. Holly was after. This was another one. And she was talking about this shot that her son got, then her son changed. But it didn't register in me because I didn't, but I told them I don't want my son to get that shot.
Yeah.
But in the States, when you carry them to do their physical and their stuff, they give the shots automatically.
Exactly.
As a baby,
yeah.
So when I found that out, and the changes started happening, his was quick, less than a month.
Yeah.
I saw the changes.
What,
he went from.
can you mention one? Like, how was the
Well,
changes?
he went from speaking. He was already speaking, saying words,
Yeah.
to completely nonverbal, to not saying nothing anymore.
So that's a big change.
Yes, it was a big change. He stopped speaking.
A delay.
Yeah. It stopped speaking. He just starts screaming. He just starts, everything just starts bothering him. And, I was taken aback because I didn't understand what was going on. He wasn't 2 yet, so don't tell me terrible 2.
Yeah.
So you start to, and it's until, 3 years old is when, the light came on when I saw Holly, Pete. And that was I Googled, stuff and then I found her where she was talking about it. And that's what made me start to look into autism. But they didn't want to accept that here until basically he was 7 when they finally diagnosed him, because everybody was thinking Maya's crazy.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Well, you're a parent, so you have your own intuition.
Yeah. But that's when and I had did the test online. Like, you remember, I had come across that test after Holly. I Googled the name autism, and then you found that test on one of the websites. I forgot, it was a website, but the test it tells you your child may have this, but seek professional help. But in those days, as yet, we didn't have ECE wasn't here as yet. So when ECE came, I still had to fight, because then they're saying the school has to refer. Until this day, I keep fighting that. A school cannot refer if they don't understand something. Now, thankfully, a lot of the teachers understand and is aware, and they know what to look for. So we're grateful for that.
So you're seeing some improvements throughout the years.
Throughout the years, yes. Thankfully that, you see it, that they're understanding it. So
and more open to it, too. I noticed the community, too.
Yeah.
The support group, do you have one for parents?
No, we keep trying to do that, but I think a lot of parents have the stigma that they're afraid to say that my child is on the spectrum, and it's still there. They'll prefer talk in the background without in a group. So I get parents messaging me, but they will never
publicly
come out and. But that's one of the things we're trying to work on again, like. Do a night for parents, and one of the members on the foundation suggested that, so I told her, well, I'm open to it, let's try it again. Maybe this time we'll get some more parents to come out, you know, just to talk about your experience and how you feel about it, because I'm in a lot of groups, but none of them here. I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook. I belong to, and some of them from England to America to India, believe it or not, I join everyone because you want to understand the experiences from each parent out there.
Exactly.
Okay. So then, regarding the parent support system, you think that you will get, what actions do you think is needed for you to get more parents to come forward?
Well, maybe help them to understand that it's nothing to be ashamed of, and help them to understand that autism is what it is. We have a lot of them think that, and it's not only here, because I'm in groups, like I said, and some of them are saying, well, my child only have a little autism. There's no little autism, there's autism. Whether you have it, you can have it in different, that's why it's called a spectrum. You can be on different levels on the spectrum, but it is autism. It doesn't take it away. You're diagnosed with it. It doesn't go away. You can't cure it. You can't heal it, But you can work with it.
How to cope with it.
How to cope and how to get them to be adaptive more in the society. Yes. So that's one of the things. As a parent, that's our duty to help our kids adapt and understand what they have. I told him from the time he was in his younger age, I think around 8, I told him, you've been diagnosed with autism, and this is what it is. He didn't quite understand yet, but as they grow older, they themselves can do a lot of research.
Yeah.
I let him see a lot of teenagers talking about their experience with autism,
So he can
can understand what it's all about, because it's not, I always told him it's nothing to be ashamed about.
Exactly.
Actually, I told him it's something you need to be proud of, because the way your mind works is completely different to us neurotypicals. That it's amazing. So
what advice would you give a parent who's maybe discovering or seeing signs?
I will tell them, first of all, start researching. Like we have the world at our fingertips through social media. YouTube was my best friend, still is sometimes, because there's a lot of good programs on YouTube that you can tap into. A lot of parents that talk about their experiences, and they guide you on what they're doing and stuff like that. I follow mostly from England. Why? Because the British were the ones that have better systems in place for autistic individuals. America love to push the medication. I've never given him medication. What I did is I started with diffuser, the lavender and stuff like that at night to help him.
So those are essential oils?
The essential oils, I did that. And all natural vitamins. There's some, I started with Nuriva, but then I started looking for ones that were more all natural stuff to help with the brain function. So you can find a lot of those. You make sure read the ratings, because I did not want to put him on pharmaceutical medication. No, not at all. So that's what I do for him. I help him. Certain foods, it may be tedious, but we need to read the labels. GMO, whether they like it or not, is very harmful for autistic people. GMO products are very harmful. So you got to read through your stuff. Yes, we cannot force them to eat what they don't want to eat. Texture is a big deal for them, and smell. And he's come a long way, but he's always had expensive taste too. I don't know why. We went out a time, EC organized a thing. All the other kids that eat hamburgers and hot dogs, Mr. is eating shrimp. So, but he...
but that shows a difference,
the difference, yes.
What may work for one may not work for the other.
And I noticed as he grew older, he was more open to trying certain stuff. The texture is a big, so nothing mushy. He loved broccoli, but some of these, if you go to a restaurant, they make it too soft, you don't eat it. It has to stay,
crunch.
Like you throw it in a minute in the water, you take it out, stick it in the ice bath, and let it stay crunchy, just to take off the little raw edge. He won't eat mashed potatoes because too mushy the texture. So you gotta understand what they like and what they don't like. When as they grow older, he himself will try certain stuff, and I let him try it. If you don't like it, we don't have to continue, but if you like it, then we know what else you like to eat. But to say, oh, you have to eat, but no, that's our way of thinking, that this is our no. And don't worry, my family, I get it too. No, that's not because we grew up. I understand what is autism now, so I'm not gonna bring the anxiety on my child, because you're causing them anxiety when you're forcing them to eat stuff that they can't handle, because the texture hits their brain, and they can't eat it, so they can't. And why am I forcing him?
I'm really glad you mentioned about the diet. What they eat. I see the schools them making effort into doing the healthy, where they're providing healthy food and snacks in the school. So, and also you get to mention that GMO is something that you have to look forward to. Look out for them.
Look out for, especially with autistic individuals. You can for some. I'm happy he hardly ate cereal, and if he did, it was only, I think it was the cocoa something.
Cocoa Puffs?
I guess so. Something, I can't even remember because it didn't last long.
Yeah.
But, like some wouldn't eat yogurt, but he loved strawberry yogurt. Yeah, so he's a big fan, so I buy that a lot. He does eat he'll eat carrots, just like I said, I have to stir fry the carrot. I can't boil it and make it mushy.
So you explore and
yes,
in the kitchen to see what actually he
likes.
likes.
What he eats and what he doesn't eat. I mean, I try to get him to eat the vegetables. So you cook it according to the texture that he is able to eat it. Yeah. So,
Where in your most ideal situation, where do you see the JTL Foundation in, let's say, like 5 years?
Actually, one of my dreams, and I was just telling someone, is to open what you call I don't call it a resource center, like a place where you can fully have all the, oh Lord, what's the name? The rooms where they can go in and...
Sensory
room, de-stress, you see, when you reach a certain age. I want a sensory building here where they can come in and they can just relax and be themselves. Yes, you have the guidance there for them, and also a separate area for the parents who wants to come in and talk, because we need that.
Yes.
People understand, as a parent, it's good when you have other parents who's. We just went to Curacao on vacation, and one of my friends, her 2 kids are on the spectrum, but she herself never in her life got that much information. So what she did is she took that time while I was there to talk a lot about it and a lot about the stuff that was going on. And they're already, her son he is 18, going to be 19, you're going to just turn 18, and her daughter's 21. But she said it was a roller coaster for her because, the help wasn't truly there either, because she herself didn't understand. Yeah. So you see, if you have an area like that where your parents can come in and feel relaxed to talk about what they're going through and hear about the experience and how we can do to support each other. Because support is needed. I mean, it's a lonely world when people don't understand you. Yes. And when they don't understand you, they make you feel like you're a failure because they're telling you, you're different. Yeah. So that's my dream, to have this building where the sensory rooms are there, a space for the parents themselves to come and sit and talk and relax and share and support.
And thank you for sharing, but in regards to the funding, you emphasize on that too, or it's just project-based?
No, the funding, I would like to have a steady funding, because if we have that, we're able to set it up way quicker. Yeah. So, like I said, I have a friend in Europe who's trying to help me find the avenues to get that. But I tried once, and like I said, they refer you back to your local entities. But until we accept autism exists here in Statia, we're not going to get anywhere.
But I see the drive in you for sure.
Yeah.
I see you pushing, because without you, I see you bring a lot of awareness to the community.
I see you mention, before I switch over, I see you mention that a separate specific place for children with persons with autism and stuff like that. Do you feel like they should be in the same classroom as with normal kids, or it should be something different, or how you think people should go about that?
Let me put it this way. Because they're on the spectrum, depends on what level they are on the spectrum. I definitely think those that, we don't use the terms anymore, but I will use it now so people can understand. You have the high-functioning autistic kids, which they can fit in a regular classroom. It's just that you have to have certain measures in place for them to understand, like you have to be clear and concise. The noise level can be as bad. My son is high-functioning, which means he's able, his IQ level is at that high level. You have those where you call them moderate autistic, which means they're in between the high function, the low function, but they need a little more attention.
Yeah.
So maybe from them, and for sure the low functioning, they need a complete separate area because they require a lot of attention.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes, and they can learn. It's just that they need the extra time because I've seen it. I've seen a mother on Instagram. Her son is on the low spectrum, but she just like any mother, she's a fighter, and she shows you how much work she puts in. And he's nonverbal, which means he don't speak just limited words. But if you can see how he's functioning, and people need to understand because they don't speak means they don't have a brain. Their brain is still up there. It's just that they need the guidance. So you can't put them with the regular kids because they can't function in.
So you would say it varies depending on the type of.
I
like
the
how you break it down
level
from the
they're on,
high, the moderate, and the low.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it exists, and it's a fact. So you need to understand, and when you get your diagnosis, the psychologist will tell you on there, it ain't because they decided to put it all under one umbrella means the differences don't exist. But he'll show you the IQ levels and stuff like that. And every 2 years, a parent needs to make sure, tell the schools, every 2 years they need to get tested. Because believe it or not, every 2 years they regressed or they advanced. And like right now, he just did his. And the psychologist said he's on the level calling him Asperger's, which means that's the highest level one. It's a little higher than high functioning. But it changes, and why? Because if you work with them, as you work with them.
Exactly.
I like that you mentioned you work with them to how to adapt.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for sharing about that for sure.
Yes.
I would like to change gears a little bit.
Sure.
Different topic. One of the main topics I would like to talk about is tourism.
Yes.
On the island itself, how do you feel about tourism in general?
What I feel about tourism, we don't understand tourism too well on the island. I may get backlash for that, but I'm being quite honest. Our understanding of what tourism actually is not quite there as yet. Why I say that is because tourism comes with service, and we're not service-minded as yet. We're friendly people, don't get me wrong, we're very friendly, but when it comes to the service and the understanding what you need to do to cater to tourism and how we can do to attract tourism, that's the difference.
And what are those service based that you're talking about?
Well, service based is your hotels, your restaurants, how you give service, what you provide for, like hotels, what you provide for your guests when they come in. I myself was a general manager of a hotel in the States for 8 years. You understand the concept of what it is, what you try. The hotel I worked for was a limited services hotel, which means we opened from 7 to 11 p.m. That didn't stop me from giving service. If they call you after hours, you don't tell them, we're closed now, I can't help you. No, you do what you can to assist them. I lived in Daytona Beach, Florida. My hotel that I worked for, I say my hotel, the hotel I worked for was a block and a half from the racetrack, which means Daytona was big on races, every type of races. So you got to understand how to cater to each different guest, your business guest, your vacation guest, So you need to be able to understand that aspect of it for you to provide for tourism, Marketing Statia, when we market, you need to have things for them to come here and do. So you need to have your tour operators. We need to have tour operators in place. We have on the island, but you need to share with the tourism office. So when we market the island, if they message us and ask us, we know who to refer them to. But a lot of times here on the island, they don't share what they have And then it's no secret. In tourism, you can't have, if you're catering to tourists, you can't have a secret. You have to let us know what you have, so we're able to share it and assist you in marketing your business.
So then you will say service basis, like it reflects back on the community.
Yes.
Do you feel exactly that something is, if you had, let me put it, if you have like a magic wand to say, okay, this is exactly what we kind of should do in order to get Statia more out there, because some islands might cater towards nightlife, some islands might cater towards different things. How do you feel Statia should cater towards tourism?
I think one of the major ones we have here is the diving. In our dive shops, does a darn good job. I will give them that credit. They do a darn good job in, promoting the diving on Statia. So that's one of the eco. I know Stenapa works hard on keeping the tracks and the trails maintained. But if we have a tour company that understand, okay, people coming here for hiking, but maybe you can help them do some different off the chart type of hiking, just not follow the trails, but if you want to go find certain, aspect, like let's go hike to find the snakes. Our snakes, the red-bellied racer snake, it's not dangerous, but people may want to see that, you understand, and it is see experience. We have the iguanas that are endangered species now, but there's folks out there who might want to see that. So you hike to find them in their natural habitat. Stuff like that. We have, I think the last time I checked, Stenapa did a study a few years ago. It was 52 different species of bird. Bird tourism is a big deal in the Turks and Caicos. We can do it here too. List them, and when a person comes to hike, this is the type of bird. So give them something where they can see, okay, I saw this one, I saw that one. So basically those little things, because we don't have what you call it the beaches. Our beaches is temporarily go on and off. They talk about water sports, but that's a nice idea, but the way our beach is at, you gotta, whoever does it, I'm not saying you can't, it's possible, but you need to make sure you focused on how to assist the tourists with what they have, because I know Stenapa has the reefs and stuff, so you need to be careful where and how you do it. So, but it's called collaboration. If everybody works together, the tourists can come here and have a very good time. Even for those that want to come and just relax. The world out there is very stressful. They've got a lot of tourists live in fast-paced world countries. When they come here, maybe they just want to relax.
So you summon and say ecotourism is the way to go.
Ecotourism, yes, because that's what Statia has to offer. So we need to capitalize on it, you understand?
And what are the bottlenecks that you see?
Well, one of our biggest bottlenecks is the airfare, we've sat with Win Air, I don't know. I've been in meetings with the CEO of Win Air and explained, the importance of getting these lower fares to get folks to come here, because most of the time when they touch down on St. Martin, a lot of those that go to St. Martin is looking for the fast life, the beach, the nightclubs and stuff like that. But there come a time when they want to just simmer down and head over. So if we have decent airfares, I know last year they introduced, in July, they did the low airfare, same day airfare. And we had a lot of tourists, because I'm in touch with the marketing office of Win Air in St. Martin. And she was quite impressed with the number of tourists that, used that airfare opportunity to come Statia. And I did see it because, I'm the only one in the office.
And why did it stop, the fare?
It was just something temporarily. They even extended it. But, we need to try and convince them to get it back. It's they still have a lower one, but it's still more expensive than the $79.99 one,
You can answer if you feel like or not, because I saw you briefly said you're the only one in the office.
Yes.
How does that function for you?
Overwhelming, stressful, trying to keep tourism afloat. I know of all the negativity out there, but I'm not going to be bothered with that, because when you don't live it, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't let nobody make me feel less than what am I. I know what I understand. I know what I can do and what I can't do. I don't take on what I can't, but I take on what I can. And I said this, and I said it in a meeting, and I can say it here as well. I told them when everybody left, I could have left too. I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
My son had finished school then.
Yeah.
I could have gone. But my first thought was, then what happens to tourism on Statia?
Yeah.
And you understand, when you love something, you think about that first. And, you know, yeah, you worry, okay, is my paycheck going to come? But I still stayed focused.
Yeah.
I still kept the contacts. I'm still in touch with so many different organizations out there, Tourism.
Yeah.
A lot of them I was not able to partake in the offers that was out there because there's no funding. But yeah, you do what you can.
So there is no funding for tourism?
Well, the budget was cut. So since January 1st, 2024,
that's a year. Yeah.
the budget was cut. There was a lot of outstandings. So you had to play catch up through the entire year to do that. So I did the stuff that were free. I had a few interviews that were free and talk about Statia.
Yeah.
So we did that. I had a lady approach me from One Caribbean Canada.
Yeah.
The fee to join that one was not out of control, so I decided to let us join that one. I know Golden Rock Resort is part of it as well. I sent a message to the stakeholders, you know, because they can all join on the Statia, because right now Statia is a member, so the stakeholders can join on the Statia for a lesser fee than the tourism office paid. So your business can be promoted as well. And she keeps me up to date. She says you get a lot of inquiries. She gets a lot of inquiries about Statia.
Yeah.
But like I said, connection-wise, you know, right now we're working with St. Kitts as well. We're trying to do what do you call round St. Kitts Save a Statia.
Yeah.
You know, get us into the inter-island connection where you share tourists. Like if a tourist come to St. Kitts for 10 days, but
put
after,
it in their deal. Okay.
after 5-6 days, they have there's nothing to do. Then they come down by
That's
us.
nice.
Here the divers too. They come here for 10 days. After the 8th day, you know, you can dive up to when you're leaving. So if you want the last day to go up to St. Kitts, so there are tour packages being worked on to promote that. And the good news is St. Kitts gets Air Canada, so Air Canada brings a lot of tourism into St. Kitts. So, and the One Caribbean Canada works with Air Canada, so that might be a avenue for us there as well.
That's really great.
Yes.
So you mentioned that One Caribbean Canada is the same one that the resort is working with?
Well, they're a member of it as well. So.
I saw an article recently that came out with the Golden Rock Resort regarding tourism. What's your take on that?
To be honest, I didn't read it.
Oh.
I heard about it, but I didn't read it as yet.
Yeah.
I know if I'm...
Do you see things turning around where tourism is concerned? Because you say, okay, your budget got cut a bit, but what are your hopes for... Do you see it improving, getting better? Do you see funding changing? How do you see it maybe in the next year or two? Because maybe you said in 2024 more of a catch-up, but now how do you see things moving forward?
Well, 2025, they said it was restored, the subsidy. We're still waiting for that to come out. But based on that, you know, what I keep saying, a lot of times people need to understand what is marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing is you have to go there and talk about it. Not putting a picture in a magazine, that wouldn't attract as much tourism as you think it would.
Yeah.
So you need to go to these trade shows. You need to be part of these shows that is out there. Like right now, we missed the one in New York. That one, Bonaire, Curacao, Aruba, St. Martin, and Sable was at that show. Yeah, you need to be part of these shows. CTO, the Caribbean Tourism Organization, we're a member of that country. You need to be part of that. They organize like conferences and shows as well. You partake in those because you put your name out there. A lot of people think, oh, I go one and miraculously people are going to show up. No, these things take time. It takes time to build who you are, what you are,
build your brand.
and what you are. Yes, and it's all about your branding, and you got to be consistent with what you do. You can't do today this, or tomorrow I decide I'm going to do this instead, or branding and stuff like that. If somebody already knows your branding, then you got to push it. You can't keep changing because then it becomes confusing. Then they don't know no more. I see a lot of people, create different pages and they call it tourism this and, but then you're confusing because the tourist needs to understand the one brand that they're heading for, A really good friend of mine in Europe works in marketing, branding, ads. So I get a lot of my, even though my background as well, I have a degree in marketing, but I still ask him and, for guidance because that's what he works in. And, he says that all the time. Branding, once you have your brand, keep pushing your brand, keep pushing your brand, keep letting people understand this is what it's all about. Ecotourism, like you said, that's one of our brands. That's what we offer. I'm happy to see, yes, they're trying to, push the heritage tourism as well. Get a lot of, because that's a big part of who we were.
That's
so
true,
I'm happy to see a lot of that is being restored and fixed and, get going. I was in touch with a Jewish association in New York and West Palm. These people are people with money.
Exactly.
They want to make sure the synagogue and the Jewish cemetery is, up to par. Because that will then attract their people as well, because they want to come and see, because it's the second oldest in the Western Hemisphere. One thing I learned from them is I didn't even know is that you used to see rocks on the graves. But then when the cleaners go, they take them off. But none of us knew that them rocks meant something. These are the Jewish people that came. And when they come, they put a rock to signify their respect for that they were there. But unless I didn't know until the guy explained it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, these are things we didn't know. So you can't blame them if they
because they think they just cleaning up the place.
But that's one of the things that the Jewish heritage, that's what they do. They put a tiny rock on the grave.
Wow.
I know with tourism and content, because content in general is not something that's cheap.
No.
Some people might think it's something that is very, you can pay a little bit here, but in the content world, like you said, once you start with something, you have to see it through. But they might think, okay, from the first thing, it's too expensive, so we're going to look for something else as soon as we start the first thing. How important is having professional content when it comes to tourism?
Very, very important. I worked with you. You remember on the video with the Makana. But that was funded through Makana and tourism, and it takes a while. The organization of the areas, putting it all together, getting the people together, and then having it, like you said, professionally done. You don't want to put something out that is mediocre and people look at us like, I'm serious. So it has to be done. So we need current pictures, high quality pictures. We need I know we spoke to you about a photo bank. We
Yeah.
need that. We
Yeah.
need that where, because you get a lot of, I get a, like the one Caribbean Canada, I had put her in touch with you because she wants high quality, high resolution pictures that
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
clean cut. These are the things they need for them to be able to push and promote out there.
Yeah.
You just can't take a picture with a phone and think it's okay and
Yeah.
you send that in because
Yeah.
that won't work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
content is very important. Pictures are very important because that keeps you going and that keeps your promotion, you know. A lot of times I use Leontine pictures. We had her
Oh yeah,
permission.
she has some
Yeah.
nice
From-
pictures.
Yeah, from her hiking, you know, but make sure you give people their credit too, you
Yes.
know, and I
Exactly.
use, you know, if I hire you to take pictures for me professionally, then we know I hired you, but if I see you put something out there and I use it,
Yeah.
I make sure credit
I
you.
guess you
and
can
say,
you can
yeah.
relate. He can relate to it.
Yeah,
'Cause it
no,
always
you gotta-
happens.
yeah, you gotta give the person the credit, you know. I have a LinkedIn page, that's my personal page, but I started just putting stuff on Station. People just started wanting more. So my
Yeah.
personal LinkedIn page is now like a promotional page to Statia.
Yeah.
And I've seen it grown to so many people, which I was shocked because the other day
Yeah.
self, I looked at my page and I'm like, so when did I get all these people?
Yeah.
Yes,
You know?
recently I also started tapping into LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I use LinkedIn a lot. It started for me as a professional to learn what's going on out there in your professional world, especially, you know, I need to tell my background in marketing. I didn't set out to go study marketing.
Yeah.
I started, when I was leaving here I went to government,
Yeah.
wanted to know what did they need. You know, I don't want to just go and study something and they said tourism.
Yeah.
So I went and studied tourism.
Yeah.
I have a degree in tourism, but while doing my degree in tourism, I met this professor from Greek.
Yeah.
And I took 2 classes with him, and he said, Maya, you need to take a degree in marketing.
Yeah.
And I look at him, and I'm like, we used to call him Dr. G. Actually, he just passed away 2 years ago. It hurt my heart. Anyway, Dr. G's like, you needed he took us to all these marketing stuff as students.
Yeah.
He took us to these things. And I'm like, maybe something combined with tourism.
And Station needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a minor in marketing because of him.
Yeah.
Then I decided, I came home, couldn't find a job, even though they told me go study tourism. There was no job for Maya. So I left again and I decided to go do my master's degree. And I went to general management. That's all was on my mind. And there I met another professor again in marketing
Yeah.
who was from Korea. And this man kept pushing me like, you need to just focus on marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest
Yeah.
degrees you can.
Yeah.
People think it's easy.
Yeah.
With marketing, you have to do a lot of research. You have to come up with papers. You have to stand. Maya was a coward. I was standing in front of class. My fingers would be sweating because you have to do all these presentations,
Yeah.
these theses, and all this stuff in marketing.
Exactly.
But I graduated with honors in top of my class.
Yeah.
This man guided me
Yeah.
and pushed me to that point, had me teaching his classes for
Yeah.
him. His
Wow.
undergrad classes I was teaching at the university. Well, it was
So when you talk about branding, you exactly know what you're talking about.
I've been there because I've had the guidance from professors, and I always say these international professors have a whole different
Yeah.
frame of mind
Yeah.
than your regular average professor because they know what it is to push.
And what would you
and
say?
have-
Sorry for cutting you off.
No.
What would you say is limiting? What limited you?
The understanding of what your background is all about here, they don't get it and they don't appreciate it. Or
Yeah.
That's how it is. When you're when you're from the soil, they don't think your soil is good. It's the one you bring out from outside in a bag
Yeah.
and spray it around is
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The grass is green on the other
Yeah.
side.
Because they don't. If people talk and you talk and you interact, you will understand what a person knows and don't know.
Exactly.
And I always say, I don't take on what I don't know. I'm not going to tap into something I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I won't tap into a field. Imagine me saying, I'll go and try and give somebody a checkup. I'm not a doctor, so I won't do that.
Exactly.
But if I know my field, I will stick to my field.
Yeah.
And in my field, I've done a lot of upgrading as well. I do a lot of upgrading. I follow, like CTO offers a lot of online workshops.
Yeah.
I've attended at least 85% of those, just to give myself
Yeah.
more understanding.
Because the
of
trend
what's-
changes too.
The trend,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So I'm always open to upgrading myself. I don't stick, oh, this is what no. I upgrade each time there's something else. I try to understand what's going on out there.
Exactly.
So I can know, you don't stay in this little, I don't say box because I was never in a box.
Well, with all that you say, I hope you don't, limit yourself or, think positive. Like you say from your son, he's the one who does
Yeah.
motivate you.
Yeah.
And
No, I don't limit myself because right now, actually, I spent some money to take what you call, since I did the English as a second language at NCF, I wanted to become actually certified. So I just paid and I'm doing that course now online, actual English as a second language certification, which will be recognized anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So, you don't stay with one thing, you do other things, and that's how your mind expands, and that's how you, traveling. That's why Jürgen, my son, is like that, because I've traveled with him, I've taken him to every different conference I went to.
Yeah.
I took him with me.
That's
I gave
nice.
him that experience. Them people from CTO knows him more than anything. If I come without him, they're like, "Where's Jürgen?" I'm like, "I thought I was the one."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's another thing. You expand and you open your mind. You see
Exactly.
different things.
Yeah.
You understand different things, and you learn. When you see, you try to learn and adapt it to your life as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have anything specifically you want to tell the community?
Well, for autism, I will reach out directly to the parents. Don't feel ashamed. Don't let nobody put you in a frame of mind that you want to give up. Fight for your child. If you become an adult, fight for yourself. Keep going. Seek help out there even if you have to go on the social media aspect. Find information. We're here on the island as parents. If you have something, let's talk and support each other. That we need that. And quad tourism, I will say, try to understand what it is. Do your part to help with tourism. For those that are already doing their part, kudos to them, and keep going and keep working hard. Don't give up, because we will get on the map sometime. I always use Nevis and St. Kitts as an example. Back in the day, we saw them as nothing. They're thriving now.
Exactly.
So we use them as an example. If they got there, we can get there too.
Exactly.
And I see that for Statia. I will be very proud to see Statia on the map. We don't want mass tourism, but we want those that enjoy what we have. We want to see them here enjoying it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Great message.
Yeah.
thank you
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking this time to come on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
I sure did.
Like I say here on Jackie the Imagery, capture the moment, watch forever. See you guys in the next episode. Bless.